Hello everyone, it's AP Tech and today we're going to take a look at this iPhone 13 Pro Gold 256GB unboxing and its first impression. This is iPhone 13 Pro by Apple and I will walk you through how my experience has been with these new addition to the truly flagship iPhone in the smartphone space. And of course I'm talking about iPhone 13 Pro. I was super excited to get these into my hands to test them out, mainly because I haven't tested out an iPhone in this channel quite recent, considering that I deemed iPhone X, Samsung S21 Ultra and Redmi Note 10 Pro, which are one of the best phones that are currently in the market. I was psyched to see how iPhone 13 Pro would perform compared to the other smartphones tested in this channel. Plus iPhone 13 Pro cost about £1,049 here in United Kingdom, which is still a lot of money compared to Xiaomi Redmi Note 10 Pro around £279 or other phones in the same market. This iPhone is at the top of range, which is more to the non-affordable market, even though it shares almost all of the premium features or less than the Samsung S21 Ultra. I've had these for about 2 days, so therefore I've not had the opportunity to fully experience yet, and the best way I can describe them is interesting. Let me explain, but before we get into the unboxing, in case if you're new here, I am AP Tech. I would really appreciate if you give this video a thumbs up. It really does help me out. And in case if you're tech fans like me, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date with the latest reviews. Let's start talking about the physical design, which is not hard to see. The iPhone 13 are inspired by the iPhone 12 from design standpoint, and this is a great welcome feature to this phone. The iPhone 13 Pro is noticeably larger than iPhone 12 or previous generation, and this is due to the larger battery capacity, but comparing to the front notch of the iPhone, this has reduced by 20%, which gives you more room in front display. Another welcome feature is the rear cameras, which are noticeably larger compared to its predecessors, and it seems like cameras are on steroids. The rear phone case has a nice matte finish that I actually really like. It's a bit cleaner, especially in this gold color that I went for. I love the contrast between the gold and the camera module. To me, it's more refined than polished finish compared to the iPhone 13 and mini. The side buttons are well made and they are easily to use. Buttons has slightly dropped for ease of comfort, although I wish to see that the side finish to match the matte finish instead of the glossy look, which attracts easily fingerprints. The first thing I have noticed when taking out the iPhone 13 Pro out for the first time was how premium it felt in the hand, and slightly with a heavier weight. You can seriously try to bend this thing and it won't move or break in whatsoever. I'm sure there will be plenty of videos here on YouTube, content creators testing out bend or a drop test. They give you really satisfying feeling when you're using them without a carry case, and the quality is top notch. The other immediate observation I had when taking out the iPhone 13 was how smooth they are. It could be because they have 120Hz adaptive refresh rate that I'm used to on the Redmi Note 10 Pro and Samsung S21 Ultra. I will leave both reviews link on the description should you wish to watch of these two phones, Redmi Note 10 Pro and Samsung S21 Ultra. With that being said, getting them into my hands and use them was super easy to do, and I was surprised at how good responsive it was. It angles comfortably into your hands, and even when I was moving about and playing games, it was comfortable and caused me no fatigue whatsoever. The box comes with iPhone 13 Pro gold color, which makes the camera module to stand out even more. You have also got the USB-C to lightning cable, and you also have the typical paperwork with the SIM card removal tool and safety and handling instructions, as well as Apple sticker. Now there is no charger in the box. This is due to Apple environment safety campaign that they're running for 2021 and moving forward. For those who are upgrading from older generation like myself from iPhone X, you will need to purchase the new faster USB-C charger, which is priced around £20 here in United Kingdom. Let's put the box aside here and take a closer look of the phone itself. Let's remove the front covering off the display, and we can see we have the gold color on display, and comparing with last year iPhone 12 Pro, you can see the camera module is noticeably larger, and that's because there are no compromises with this year's cameras. There are no downgrade just by getting the Pro versus the Pro Max. You get the exact same camera setup and everything else we'll take a look in a moment. The only difference between iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max is that it has a larger screen and a larger battery capacity. On the side, they have moved the volume button down to accommodate new internal layout, and this does not affect the user experience in terms of reaching out buttons with discomfort. On the bottom, one thing I'm disappointed to see is that Apple are still using Lightning cable instead of USB-C that are introduced on the new iPad mini this year. I wish that Apple has adopted the USB-C just like how they have adopted on the new iPad mini. This will be definitely more attracted to more wider market. Now, as far as weight wise, there are definitely a weight difference between iPhone 12 Pro and this one. The weight is drastically much higher compared to the iPhone 12. iPhone 13 Pro, it has 204 grams and iPhone 12 Pro has 189. It's definitely more noticeable, which is pretty much at the top. This is due to the camera modules. Now, as far as the notch, let me turn on the new phone so you can see the notch a little bit more prominently. And here's me lining up with iPhone X. As you can see, the notch is definitely smaller this year, and side by side you can see the phones. Most certainly it's thicker due to the battery and camera module. This phone should add a bit more, 1.5 hours, so that's on top of previous generation iPhone 12 Pro. If you were happier on iPhone 12 Pro last year, then you will definitely be more happier this year. Let's go ahead and set up this phone and take a closer look. Internally this year we have the new A15 Bionic chip, so it's 6-core CPU with 2 performance core and 4 core efficiency, and also it has 5-core GPU. It's extra core compared to the iPhone 13 and iPhone 13 mini, so it's a little bit extra power for the Pro models. It also has a new 16-core neutral engine and 6GB of RAM, so they haven't increased them compared to the last year. Now let's go ahead and set up Face ID and more around. After you've set up, it will then ask you to transfer your data from your previous iPhone or any other smartphone. At this stage, I won't transfer for this video purpose. I will set up as new iPhone. You can customize your setting, etc. But I will hit continue here. Now that we're fully set up, let's take a look at what software is running on this. It should be iOS 15, and there should be more update available to install, which I will install behind the camera. This new phone comes with a new wallpaper. Let's take a look at them. These live wallpaper are specific to the Pro models and they won't be on base model, and even the 12 Pro Max won't even have them. If you tap your display, then you will see these are live to move. While I was collecting my iPhone 13 Pro at Apple Store, I have managed to play about with all of their lineup to see if there are any difference in reference to how smooth they are and the size comparison. I was blown away how fast the Pro models are compared to the iPhone 13 and 13 mini. iPhone 13 Pro supports Pro Motion, which is not supported in the base model or even iPhone 12 Pro Max. And this feature can be turned off if you don't want to use it. You can reduce the refresh rate from 120Hz to 60Hz to save the battery life. But Apple manages this now by going down as adaptive, which depends on what you're using. For example, if you're on setting, you don't need to have a higher refresh rate, so it reduces down itself. It limits itself, which is a clever, and I think all other smartphones should adapt this method of adaptive refresh rate. Let's talk about battery life. So these Pro models will give you up to 22 hours video playback on iPhone 13 Pro and up to 28 hours on iPhone 13 Pro Max. And then when it comes to audio playback, you would have up to 75 hours playback on iPhone 13 Pro and up to 95 hours on Pro Max. Both models are compatible for fast charging up to 50% in around 30 minutes with these 20-watt adapter, which can be purchased separately. All iPhone lineup are compatible with MagSafe and wireless charging. Now finally, most of the people are hyped about these cameras, especially the Pro models. Both Pro models are equipped with 12 megapixel camera system, telephoto wide and ultra wide camera. The telephoto has f2.8 aperture and the wide angle has f1.5 aperture. This is more than what professional camera Sony a7C lens can produce. The lower the aperture, the more light it draws into the lens, which produces blur background, which is also known as bokeh. The ultra wide camera has f1.8 aperture and 120 Hz degree field of view. These new Pro lineup supports 3 times optical zoom in, 2 times optical zoom out, and 6 times optical zoom range. This is nothing compared to the Samsung S21 Ultra, but in most cases you won't need more than 3 times optical zoom. It also supports up to 15 times digital zoom. Now when it comes to functionality though, it still shares some of the similarities with iPhone 12 Pro Max. This is where we see some noticeably difference. Personally, I do prefer on-display Touch ID compared to Face ID, as we are still at the end of pandemic, so Apple should have adopted on-display Touch ID rather than Face ID. However, the Face ID is now more accurate and fast thanks to the A15 Bionic chip. Now when it comes to sound quality, it's insanely amazing, and obviously the bass is mid, which is well known on iPhones, and this is an instantly noticeable profile, which is actually quite pleasant. It's really great for listening to hip hop and R&B. It's still decent for things like podcasts that sounds better with more balanced sound profile. One main reason I was really attracted to Apple iPhones is the ecosystem, how it works really well in conjunction with other products such as Apple Watch, Mac, iPad, and Apple AirPods. I've played a couple of games on this iPhone. It's shockingly amazing with the new Pro Motion. You feel like you're using a professional gaming console. Obviously, for a better experience, Pro Max will be more ideal due to the screen real estate. Well, you have just made to the end of today's video, so thank you for watching. And if you drop hashtag iPhone 13 Pro in the comment, I will give you a thumbs up, as I know you're still here. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss out my next upload. Can you also follow me over Instagram? Watch these 2 videos for Redmi Note 10 Pro and Samsung S21 Ultra review. Until next time, peace out.